Oh, I can cook too. On top of the rest, my seafood's the best in town.
Yes, I can cook too. My fish can't be beat, my sugar Swiss around.
Oh, I'm a gal's ideal of a perfect meal, right down to the demi-tasse.
I'm a pot of joy for a hungry boy, baby. I'm cooking with gas.
Oh, I'm a gumdrop, a sweet lollipop, a brook right out of the brook.
And what's more, baby, I can cook. What's cooking, Partridge? Oh yeah!
Hello everyone, welcome to the 4th edition of actually What's Cooking Park Ridge. We're actually privileged today to be here in the home of our really good friends, Mark and Christy McVey, and we're here with Lori, who I know you know, and we're going to talk about, the new American cuisine. Now, I'm going to put Mark on the spot. I'm going to ask him exactly what that means because I'm not quite sure, but I know it's going to be a really interesting show because these two are phenomenal Broadway stars and singers, and you're going to hear their story, and we might even get a little peek from their daughters actually, who are actually going to come in because they're also stars in their own right. But this is an American family that's to go along with the American cuisine. So Mark, what's that American cuisine?
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about American cuisine. My definition of American cuisine would be a culmination of a lot of different flavors and styles of cooking that were brought to America, or that cooking style that's already here that we add a lot of different ethnic kinds of flavors to. In other words, we're going to use some Italian recipes. We're going to have a little French influence along with some Southern influence. I'm from West Virginia.
There you go.
Christy's from Michigan.
So we got to put in the chair. Exactly.
So we're going to have a little bit of influence from Michigan as well, and we're also gluten-free. So it's been very interesting for us in the last several years getting to know how to find things that are on the shelves these days for gluten-free eaters. And Christy and I are both gluten-free.
So what does gluten-free mean? I don't mean to interrupt you, but what exactly?
It means no gluten.
So okay.
A lot of it is in flour. So we can't eat the flour. We can't eat the pasta, the regular pasta. So it was a big change. And after about 2 weeks of feeling like I had absolutely nothing to eat, and Mark didn't necessarily have to go on it, but he was very kind to go on it with me, and so after about 2 weeks.
I haven't cheated in the entire 8 years either.
So that's good that you haven't cheated.
No, thanks.
Do you cook at home a lot more now because of being gluten-free?
Oh yes.
I guess yes, but we like to cook and be at home because we're out so much that this is kind of like our time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And this is our family time.
Together.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah,
which
family
is awesome.
time. It's around dinner. We still try to. We're very blessed to be able to eat a meal together. We got 2 teenage girls, so it's not often that you get everybody to sit down for dinner, and
then
we kind of make that a special thing and make it a priority for us anyway as a family.
That's true.
So what are you cooking tonight?
All right.
Tonight,
Are you ready?
Tonight we're doing baked chicken.
Oh.
And we
Southern style, or?
Well, it says it's a Southern style because of the
But not fried.
Right,
okay.
because of the spices that are on it. And actually, this is a great spice right off the shelf. It's called seasonal.
Okay.
But it has a good bit of paprika and garlic and oregano and things like that.
So it's one season that has a bunch of herbs in it.
Seasonal, yeah. And it's very inexpensive, but really good. And has it does have some salt, though. It does have some sodium. But we're doing that. But we do that because actually we don't fry things. I'm from the South, and I was raised on fried chicken, right?
Of course.
But we don't
Now
fry
you're
things
talking.
because now it's just there's too much. It's too much for us.
Sure.
Yep.
The stomach won't take it. And so baking.
We're watching our figures.
Yes,
Of
it
course,
is.
I'm kind of jealous.
And we also get though a whole lot of stuff out of it. In other words, if I can bake chicken, then the drippings from the chicken I can save and I can use in sauces. And so that's what we'll do today. I'll show you how to do that as well. And also I always cook way more than I need, so that if I'm away and I'm not here to cook dinner, I'm generally the one that does the cooking in our home. And if I'm not here, though, the girls still need something to eat, so I want to make sure that there's chicken legs or something.
Because I hear you do a lot of singing gigs.
I do a fair amount of singing gigs.
And travel probably for that.
And travel as well, yeah.
Yes.
So, and then we're going to
good.
serve with that. We're going to serve Brussels sprouts.
Oh, I love
Brussels sprouts is basically a French dish. I'm Scotch-Irish, so Scottish would be cabbage, but that's from the cabbage family. It's a Brussels sprout.
Like little tiny.
Little tiny. And I have to say, growing up, I didn't like Brussels sprouts at all. And the way we would have them is just boiled, really, and then with butter
and lemon.
And I couldn't take them. But so this is where we've added a little bit of the Italian influence in there, and a little bit of Michigander in there, because we've got some cherries going on it. And so I feel it's more palatable.
Recipe. It's our recipe.
True.
So I mean,
we've created it.
So this is your debut
of our recipe.
Of our Brussels sprout recipe. I mean, I'm sure that somebody around the country has had it before, because it's American cuisine, right?
New American.
Okay,
New American.
Let's get to it.
Awesome.
Now.
Yeah, right? So you kind of prepped a little bit of it, right, Mark? I mean, you have a little bit of in the oven, right?
I did. I've got some in the oven. Got some chicken in the oven
just
already.
To kind of show us the process.
And then I've got some that I've prepared that's ready to go in the oven as well. And this is just a drip tray, and all that will drip down so that I can save it, right?
And is that the seasonal?
This is the seasonal that's on it. And I don't know how the one pat of
butter
got on there, but I didn't want the butter on
in
particular.
How did that happen on there?
And then this one we'll show you how much to put on as well. But we put butter on all of the thighs.
So how do you prepare this for the for the oven? Do you I know some people wash it, they soak it overnight. I mean, some people just take it out of the wrapper and just kind of put it in it.
Right, I wash it. I always wash the chicken. But and also chicken, because I buy it in 5 and 6 package, in a package, right?
Right.
Some of them are larger, some of them are smaller. I always cut off the extra skin. I don't want the extra fat in it. So I cut all of that off. That's a prep after washing, and then I just place it into where there's no space in between, right?
There you go.
Right, because I want it to cook evenly, right? I don't want there to be. And I want it to cook at a certain temperature at a certain time.
Learning.
You sound like an artist. Like, where did you learn these cooking techniques? Somebody taught you about.
Years and years and years of slaving over a hot stove. And, I don't know how much I'm actually going to be able to take it any longer. However,
we're a little dramatic. We're a little dramatic.
Just a touch.
So who, growing up, who taught you?
I'll shaky while you tell.
My mother taught us. I grew up in West Virginia, and I've told you a little bit of my story too. Yeah, that's right. Now, Mama, right, take me home. But my mother was a great housekeeper, and she would take in people's clothing as a seamstress, and she would alter men's suits and make women's clothing and do all that kind of stuff. And then when I was about 10 years old, she had an unexpected pregnancy and had to go to work actually after she gave birth, and so we had a person come in, and a lot of the chores and stuff fell to me because my sister was already 15, 16. She was headed into the Miss America pageant kind of stuff.
Their family is like the Von Trapps. Just to let you know.
So
they all sing.
Your family like the Von Trapps?
No. Not really.
But we my mother taught us to do everything. So I sew, I iron.
Wow.
Now
you're telling me you were darning today, right?
I was darning holes, right?
He was.
Guys, do you darn?
I tell you what.
I don't know.
And
hello.
I was feeding him.
It's good to see a man
and
darning.
Cookin,
It's good, right?
And my mother, my mother is German. It was Rausch was her maiden name, so she cooked everything. She boiled everything, and I was like well, can't do this forever, right?
You gotta change
I
it to boil
change
it.
this up,
Exactly.
Because I know about boiled chicken.
We went to steaming and all different kinds of things in my house
Well-
when I took over at 12 years old. It was
Right.
kind of different. But
Because the other thing in the South, I think, is that they'll tend to, especially on vegetables, and we would talk about this too, is it would be steamed for forever and until it was really soft. And a lot of sauces
Mushy.
and
We call that
mushy.
mushy.
Yeah, and I was Mark and I were saying we can't handle that.
couldn't do it.
So,
That's
so
right.
we do things a little more al dente, and yes, and that's New American. So you gotta.
Right.
That's the thing with cooking is you find what you like and then you just add to it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So anyone can do it.
Yep. See, that's what's so. Lori, I'm so sorry.
that's okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say we could put it in the oven probably,
Yeah.
right?
Okay,
Sure.
okay, Yes.
And then
You-
chop
you're
a little
Talking
you
bit.
want
here.
that?
We'll-
No, we'll add a little bit more. I was
Okay.
thinking.
We have some
Oops.
in the oven.
Oh, let's see it. Is it?
And
That's
it's
our
doing-
few.
It's doing pretty well.
And it's on 350.
It's on 350, but it's also on a convection.
Ah,
Let's
I'm
see
doing some
that.
Convection.
Mark, that oven is spotless. I gotta
Yeah.
tell you.
Yeah.
My oven.
It's newish.
It is
nice.
rather
Newish.
newish. But that, as you can see,
And you see the butter.
Very nice.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
The
So you
butter
get the
will-
drippings
brown
of that.
crust on it. Very
Right.
nice.
Yes. And it does get nice and crispy, which is
You
also
want to
lovely.
cook that in now?
Sure.
Okay.
That's good.
So how long do you cook that?
We'll cook this for about an hour
Yes.
on this convection, and I'll have to keep an eye on it because I don't want to overcook it. The convection oven can
That's so
overcook.
perfect.
Yes, it is. No, we have a convection oven too, and you have to change those cooking times and
Yeah,
temps.
you do.
Yeah.
You do.
It's neat.
But we would normally,
I know.
this much chicken, we would normally cook that for about an hour, sometimes an hour and a half,
15.
depending on how big the pieces of chicken are, and depending what you're cooking. If you're cooking breast, not anywhere near that, but if you're cooking chicken that's on the bone, then you must cook it
All the way through.
much more all the way through. So
And you test it with a
test it with a
thermometer?
knife.
Oh, you just do it by eye.
That's
We
right.
know.
I
okay.
cut it right along the bone, and if it looks like it's still
Red.
or something,
oozing
yeah.
pink, then it's not
Right.
done, right? So, and then we're also having jasmine rice.
Ah.
We do it in a rice
That sounds
cooker,
exotic.
which
That's
is,
a beautiful rice
a
cooker.
Jerusalem-
Can I tell you, it's like
It's
it makes
incredible.
perfect
It's really-
rice
It makes perfect rice.
every time.
Absolutely perfect
So-
rice every single time.
Wow.
We had some foreign exchange students come and live with us. And it was 3 boys, and they were from China. And so I thought, okay, well, obviously they like rice. So my father heard that we had some kids coming, and he said, I sent you a rice maker. And I said, oh my God.
That's a nice
And
dad.
can I tell you, it is
It's
amazing.
incredible.
So we
It's
like,
changed your life?
it has.
It is. All you
And
have to do really is rinse the rice. Make sure that you rinse the rice well, because we buy it in bulk. We buy most of our things in bulk at Costco. We have a
Yes.
freezer downstairs. We keep things in the freezer and pull it up so that it makes it that much easier. We don't have to go to the grocery store all the time. We end up going anyway, but
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
don't have to.
that's actually very smart.
But so we have, and this is the
Coming out of
rice.
frame.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go.
The,
Basmati. There-
No,
ta-da.
jasmine.
It's
Yeah.
jasmine.
Jasmine. It's
Yeah,
not.
jasmine.
Yes.
And it's a long grain white rice, and it's so flavorful, and plus it smells good.
Right.
And it's just in this rice maker, it makes it perfect every time. I mean, I don't know about
So you
anyone
have to
else.
do instant rice.
No.
No.
Well, I didn't like instant
We-
rice. It never tasted, full. Like a grain
Real.
of rice should taste full. And then the other thing is that this is just like the perfect every single time. Whereas sometimes you would try to make your own rice, and sometimes it was too wet,
Yeah,
and sometimes
too lumpy,
no,
too-
nope.
yeah.
Rice is the hardest thing to cook.
People don't. That's true.
I
they
am
don't
the worst
understand, but
at
it is.
it.
Yeah, it's not easy.
So what turned
this
you
is it.
on to this? I mean, how did you,
Well,
I've never heard of jasmine rice before.
when I used to go out to eat, if I were to get a rice, I wanted something that was something I wouldn't make, you know? And so I remember trying jasmine rice in a restaurant. And then There was one time I went to Thailand, and I did go to Thailand, and then
So
we
this
went to this.
The USO tour, wasn't it?
Yes, I went to the Philippines, there, and Asia, parts of Asia, and then I ended up in Thailand, and the jasmine rice was amazing. So when we saw this at Costco, and it's 25 pounds, so it lasts for a while.
Good bang
It
for
lasts
the
for a while.
buck.
Although with our exchange students, that we went through that bag very quickly.
I bet.
Sure.
Yes, and 3 boys,
absolutely.
forget
Oh,
it.
my God.
Yes.
Good boys.
You're making 5 cups of rice every night.
So that brings us to the topic of how you guys met.
Okay. Well,
So-
it's a fun story.
Okay, awesome.
We met on the Broadway stage of the Who's Tommy at the St. James Theater, right?
Yes, we did.
And Mark had taken over for Captain Walker, and he was the first replacement. And I, meanwhile, had been on tour for about 2 years. And then they said to me that the Mrs. Walker was leaving, and I said, "Can I just please audition?" And they said, "We're going to give it to one of the understudies who had been there for over the 2 years." And I said, "Can I just please audition?" And they said, "All right." So it was basically a sing-off.
Wow.
And I was very blessed, and I made my Broadway debut as Mrs. Walker. And so we were married on stage before we were married in real life.
Wow.
How's that?
That's
How's
a
that?
story.
Kind of one
It
of
is
those
a good-
things. When Christy came in, the show continued for about 6 months, I guess, something like that. Then it closed, and so we got to know each other pretty well and became friends. And of course, you had to work with each other, and you had to, you had to get to know each other pretty well. We had to kiss on stage and so forth. And then after the show closed, I missed getting that kiss every night.
I capped it.
And waltzing with me.
I said,
Yes.
hey, this worked pretty good on stage. How about giving it a shot off stage? We've been together now for 20-some years.
Wow,
Yes.
That's a lot of
Married,
years.
coming up on 19.
Very good.
That's
See?
awesome.
You remember.
So what's the secret
It's good.
And the secret of what?
of just marriage and just
Oh.
sticking together?
Oh, you charming.
It's basically
Love and joy.
About that, right? You have a
Yeah.
beautiful family and you're raising them, and you both are artists, and you've chosen Bergen County as your home. What is it about Bergen County that attracted to you? Why have you guys decided to settle here?
Well, we call this area kind of La La Land because it's like the perfect spot.
No
really.
offense, Bergen County.
No, meaning like in a great way, because you are close to the city, but you're not in the city. You have grass, we have trees, we have birds other than pigeons, which is so lovely.
Imagine that.
I know, imagine that. I put a feeder outside, and yet at the same time, we are so close that we can get into Midtown, not always in rush hour, but in 40 minutes.
Yes.
And we're Midtown, we're where we need to be, and we're close to if we need to audition or in our girls' audition, so we bring them in. If I want to go have a voice lesson, I can go do that. You know what I mean?
I
we're
do,
close to all that.
because I'm
And
here
yet-
too.
Exactly. And yet we have all the culture out here too. So we
Yes.
have culture out here, and it's the best of both worlds, I think.
And everywhere, almost everywhere in Bergen County, you have a good educational system.
Yes.
Some places, some boroughs are a little better or ranked a little higher. I'm not certain that they're that much better, to be quite honest with you. But it is, you're getting the kids are getting a really good education. And that's something that both of us wanted, that we wanted them to be in public school, because public school, you have a wider diversity of ethnic,
Yes.
Cultural diversity.
Yes, exactly.
That's it.
So that's what we wanted. And both of us were raised and went to public schools as well. And we just think that that's the way to go. And besides that, if you're going to pay the taxes that you have in Bergen County, you might as well go to public
That's
school.
what we say.
I agree. I agree. So you mentioned before when you were talking about the rice that you had some exchange students here.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about, because I think it's extraordinary that you welcomed people into your home like that. Can you tell me a little bit about what that experience was like and why you did it?
Sure. We were approached actually to do this, and we talked about it as a family and said sure. And we did like a small trial of 2 weeks in a summer, and that's when we had all 3 boys.
That's a small trial.
That was our small trial. And
Wow,
before we like jumped into the whole year, you know,
Okay.
the school year, and it was, we had a really fun time. Although they did eat us kind of out of house and home.
Out of rice.
It was 3
They
for
ate you out of
rice
rice.
and eggs. Rice and eggs.
And eggs and meat.
Yeah, they kept
I
saying
would wake up in the
meat.
morning and say, what do you guys want?
Meat.
It was
Is
very
that your
fun.
name or is that?
So maybe girls next
So
time.
then that's what we did.
Oh, I've got 3 girls. I'm not so sure.
So we had one girl here for a whole year, and she was young. She was going into 8th grade at the time.
So
And
14, something like that, 13, 14.
Right, she was 14. And so she, you know, you have to give them their own room and a desk. That's what is mandatory. And then she went to, but she didn't go to our school. She went to a different school, a private school, which is how they kind of set it up. And it was through that school, and they had called us.
Here in this area?
Yes,
Bergen County.
exactly.
Okay.
And so that was a little tough. She did get a bus every day, and for the most part that worked. But there were some times when the bus wouldn't come, or she fell asleep. Oh my gosh, she fell asleep, and I call and I say, "Where's my student?" And they're like, "I don't know." I said, "Well, you better find her." And she had fallen asleep on the bus, and no one had, you know, didn't know her well enough yet.
And
to-
what
to
country
pick
was
her
she
up.
from?
China.
Okay.
And she didn't really speak our language. So
Yeah,
it
it's
was
scary.
cool to kind of learn about her culture, about why she was here. And it was a good year, but we decided after that it was also, it was a lot.
Yeah.
So
you did it
So we
enough.
did it. And that was
So
good. That
did you
was good.
learn to say something in Chinese?
Let's see. We learned.
No.
No. After a
Can
year.
you say
No.
thank you?
Shay
Shay shay.
Shay
Shay
shay.
shay. Shay shay. I know shay shay.
And that's what we learned.
That's it. So how's that chicken going?
It's
in
good.
The oven. Is it
All right,
good? How's it
so-
looking?
Do you wanna look at it?
One
Yeah. Let's take a
Let's,
look.
let's take a
Probably,
look. Let's see what's going on
probably
there.
come out as well, so that you can pan down this way if you want to see the pan of chicken.
That sounds like a lot of chicken humor.
Yep. So we'll be bringing that out.
This one.
Watch your
Be
leg.
careful, yeah.
Yep.
That's good.
And this should be about done. And
That's
then,
finished?
I believe so.
Oh, nice.
because that's been in there before the other ones.
Awesome.
And then we're going to end up doing, the rice has already started.
Okay.
So that just has a little bit of time left. And then we're going to cut up the Brussels sprouts.
So show us how to do that. Show
Okay.
us exactly what's involved in that.
Okay, so I'm going to cut some Brussels sprouts. And I've just got a few here for us. And they're smaller, so I'm just going to cut the ends, which is what I like to do. And then I'm going to quarter them. It's very easy.
Why don't you try just halving them since they're so small?
Since they're so small, all right.
Yeah.
So, and then I put them in my bowl. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to half them. Kind of bite size, really, what we're doing. Cut the end and cut them right in half. It's super easy. And like I said, I did not like Brussels sprouts as a kid, but this recipe I love. And even our girls, they will eat them. They will eat them.
It's one of
So
the-
much better.
One of the things you have with teenagers, isn't it? That they sometimes just don't like vegetables. So, one of the key ingredients of this Brussels sprout recipe of ours is Italian bacon, pancetta. We have a belief in our home that everything is better with bacon. Now, that's not necessarily true, I guess, but you should try it. Anyway, Italian bacon is called pancetta. And so what we like to do here is to season our pan with two things. That's the pancetta and garlic. And this particular, I think Christy mentioned a little bit earlier, what we would normally do, the way we would have them when we were kids, is to have the Brussels sprouts that are either boiled or steamed, sometimes roasted, but not very often. And they taste too much like Brussels sprouts. So we happen to like this recipe because it tastes less like Brussels sprouts and more like kind of a different Italian vegetable, because you've added the pancetta, you've added the garlic, and we also have a couple of other things that we like to put in that adds to the flavor, kind of gives it depth, if you will, and that is either cherries or cranberries that are soaked in cherry juice. As well, we finish it off with a balsamic vinegar or balsamic vinegar drizzle, and sometimes we've added, depending on the season, pear or apple or things like that as well. But this evening we're just doing the pancetta, the garlic, and the cherries, or cherry soaked cranberries. And it's always good when you're doing garlic to smash it down like that, because then the outside comes off really easily, and it also pops the garlic to where, oh, that didn't come off as easy as I thought, to where it activates the oils flowing. And we'll just use that and slice that in a long and then a diagonal. We like the chunks a little bit bigger. Christy likes the flavor but doesn't like to eat the garlic, so we don't put too much in, but it helps to add the flavor, a really good flavor. And then we will cook all of this in an olive oil. And that means that our rice is done. And so there you have it. There's the pancetta. We'll put it in the pan if you guys are ready. So here is the process. We use an extra light virgin olive oil, and it has a very, very light taste. And that's what we start with, and then we'll just kind of scoop the pancetta in and let it start cooking. The idea of this is not to overcook the Brussels sprouts like our parents did so many years ago. So what we want to do is this is going to be very hot, and it takes a little while for it to get there, but we want all of these flavors to be individual flavors. We don't want them to mix. We want to be able to taste it all. So we don't want the garlic to be too overdone. We don't want the pancetta to be burnt. And but when we put the Brussels sprouts in, we are going to turn the heat up actually and get a char on them, because that adds to the flavor. And get that char on there without actually cooking them too much, so that they're still chewy as well. So we're starting to get a nice, as you'll notice, it didn't take very long, but we're starting to get a nice sizzle on that pancetta. And that's going to add that extra bit of fat from the bacon, is going to add a wonderful flavor to that olive oil. Let that go for about another 30 seconds, I guess. And then we're going to add the garlic. And then we'll add, of course, the Brussels sprouts. This is what you would call the Italian, I guess, portion of the or addition to the new American cuisine. This is the Italian bacon. So I don't know. Maybe you want a little bit of an Italian aria or something. I don't know. How about that?
Steine fronte de Steine fronte de Steine fronte
Hello, I'm Sarah Dublin. I'm going to be interviewing Kylie McVey, and we're going to be making a souffle. Kylie, so what type of ingredients do you need to make this souffle?
This typical, or not typical, special souffle only needs 2 ingredients. We need 2 eggs and 1 cup of Nutella. Nutella is fantastic. I love Nutella. That's why I'm putting this in the souffle. You can use any hazelnut chocolate spread, but Nutella is obviously my favorite. So
That's good. That's always good. I love Nutella too.
Oh yeah.
How long do you think it's going to take to make this?
Well, to bake the souffle, it takes around 30 minutes. Preparation, usually 15 to 20, depending on how high your eggs are whipped. You know, on like level 5, usually I do it. So it's usually 3 minutes, but because we need it to be a nice meringue, needs to be hard. You should see mountains when you take out the these thingies. I don't know what they are called. Okay.
The mixers? Yeah, I know. I know what you mean.
That thing, yes.
Do you want to get started?
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to need your help with this because we need exactly 1 cup. So you see the 1 cup right there?
Yep.
Okay, so we need to take this, and I want you to watch it while I put the Nutella in. Okay.
Okay.
You know, am I there yet?
Nope.
Okay.
You want a nice even spread, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm going to try and get it as even as possible, but yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
Okay.
I think you're almost there.
I'm almost there?
Almost.
Almost. It's not really an even spread. I just bought this Nutella, so it's very nice and smooth.
Yes.
Not like the old Nutella where I have to whip it up a little bit before it works. Yep.
So you like making souffles a lot?
I love making souffles. This is my favorite thing to bake, but because it's also gluten-free, because my parents are both gluten-free. I am not. I can't live a day without bread, but I still like to bake gluten-free things for them so that they can enjoy it as much as I am.
I think a little bit more.
Just a little bit more? Okay.
Yep.
So I usually bake gluten-free cakes also, which is, I usually do chocolate, obviously. But, then sometimes I do like some pumpkin muffins that are not gluten-free so they cannot eat it.
I think that is perfect.
Yes! Okay. So now we're going to start with the eggs.
Okay.
So I'm just going to take that to the side because we might need it a little later. Put that on the cap. Okay. So we need to switch the bowls. We're going to put the egg whites in here and the yolks in here.
Okay.
Oop.
So I'm really bad at cracking eggs.
Really?
Yep.
This took me a while. I always had to have Mom do the egg white and then put the egg yolks in there, only because I was so scared of doing it.
Yeah.
That, here, wait, hold on, I'm just going to put that in the trash. That I didn't want to do it anymore, so
Yeah.
I wanted Mom to do it. Because it's just easier that way, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yes. So you got to do that. 1 more. Oh, don't break.
Me.
Still scared, still scared. Okie dokie. Yes, success. Yay.
Perfect.
Okay. Now, you're going to take the spoon that's right over here. Do you mind just taking it?
Yeah, I got you.
And you're going to mix all of that together.
Okay. So let's
Yes.
move this over.
Yes. Put it right in front of you. Just go,
Yeah,
just go like
gotcha.
this.
You want me
that,
like-
you know that commercial? Yes, the commercial.
The commercial, yes.
See? I gotta quickly wash my hands off. They're sticky. I don't like that. Okay. So while you're doing that beautifully, she's doing it beautifully, I'm going to whip these egg whites. Now, to whip the egg whites to get it into a nice meringue, it usually takes a little bit of time, only because they start off, they're just egg whites, so they start off really bubbly, then they get a little harder, a little harder, a little harder. So you really have to be patient when you're whipping them. Are they fully in? Yes. So this is gonna make some sound.
If you guys want to see, this is how it looks. The consistency changed.
It's very thick.
Yeah.
That's why we need the meringue eggs.
Yes. And you're gonna pour that in here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you see how it's nice and bubbly right now?
Yeah.
That is the opposite of what we want.
Oh.
We want it to be really white, like a solid white, and we want it to not have any bubbles in it.
Is it gonna be fluffy?
It should be fluffy, like when you cut in the middle, you see some air bubbles in there, but not a lot. Because again, you should see those mountains, make it really nice and juicy. You want to try it?
Sure.
Okay.
So you wanna like switch sides?
Yeah, you can switch sides.
Okay.
So hold on.
Make it this way?
This way.
Okay,
Yeah, so
cool.
you can hold it that way.
Oh, you might have to hold the bowl for me.
That's fine. That's fine.
So how long do you think like doing all this is gonna take?
This should take, again, 3 minutes, maybe 4, depending on what level you are on. I am on level 5 to make it go faster. Usually I do it on level 4 or 5 because I don't like waiting. I'm a teenager, so I hate waiting. Patience is not one of my things. I'm not good at that.
So when you're doing all this, you're gonna stay in the middle the whole time, or do you want to like
usually you want
rotate?
Yeah, you want to make a nice circle.
Okay.
And then go in the middle, maybe do some like stripes and do some zigzags, just to amuse myself.
Yeah.
Just
You wanna see that?
Yes. So you can see how it's getting more and more solid. You see kind of a little bit of a mountain happening there. You see the bubbles disappearing. It's a very nice white color. We're going to do it just for a little more, a little longer, but not a lot. We don't want to overwhip them.
Your arm gets pretty tired, right?
Yes, your arm gets really tired. That's why I passed it on to you, Sarah.
Wow.
You're welcome. Okay.
Good.
Okay, now, yes! You see that? That's exactly what we want. And it's sticking in the, what is it called? A mixer?
The mix.
A beater. That's
The beater.
it. There you go. Beater!
Yes.
Oh, I won't remember that, but it's okay. So, okay. Yes. Yes, this is exactly what we want. Even if you turn it upside down, it's not like going with gravity. It's going against gravity. And that's exactly what we want. Can I try to knock it out?
Yes.
Yes. Success. Success number 2. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to put that in the sink. Always wash it. Okay. That's exactly what you want. You don't want it to fall out. That means it's not ready. So, we're going to take the exact same spoon as we did before.
Okay.
See how it's nice and thick? We don't want it to be smooth at this stage only because it just had the yolks in it. So it should be really nice and thick. I might take my finger. I'm just going to take my finger. I washed my hands, don't worry. Okay.
Okay.
So we're just going to do half of it. I'm going to pour that in. Yes. And then you can do the other half.
Okay.
Okay. Get that nice in the thing. Yes.
That is hard.
Yeah, it's hard at first. That's why I'm doing the first half so you can do
The easy part.
We're switching
Yes.
parts. Okie dokie. Yes.
Yes, now that looks
You do not want to see any of the white
okay.
because then you might get some white while you're baking it. You'll see the white not cooking enough, and then it won't taste as good. It won't taste as fluffy and light. It won't be as fluffy and light.
You don't want any bumps in there either, right?
No, you don't want any bumps in there.
Okay.
Because again, that means that the egg didn't reach.
Yeah.
We want everything to be reached. There you go.
Oh, it's really good. It's making my mouth water.
I know.
It looks really good.
Yes. And then, see how it's not as thick anymore? That's exactly what we want. We don't want it as thick. And then once we pour the other half in, it should be almost liquid. Should almost be liquid. Yes. Take that. Beautiful. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful strokes.
Yes.
You see this? Yes. Yes.
Scrape the sides.
Ooh, yes. There you go. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna mix it.
She's gonna mix it. It's gonna be beautiful.
Get my strength in here.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Make sure there's no white in here either. So typically I'm not really a baker. I don't really bake.
No.
I like, no.
I can't tell.
I'm really?
You are a great stirrer, my friend.
I am not good at baking. I usually use like those little box baking things that you buy in the supermarket.
Right?
Because
yes.
those are easy.
That's what I use for the cake. But yes. Okay. So when we pour this into, I use a bowl that can go into the oven, so it doesn't melt in the oven. That would be
that would be.
It melts in the oven. It would be, you would usually do either cooking spray or butter into the bowl before you put the mixture in, so it doesn't stick. So it's really nice and fluffy, and then you can eat it without any of the rough edges or residue on the bowl.
Okay.
Yes. So, okay. So now it's almost like a liquid. It's the perfect consistency. Yes, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Great job. Okay, so now we're gonna put it into the bowl. So Sarah, do you mind handing me that gray bowl?
Do you need this too?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. See, it's already covered in cooking spray, thanks to the lovely dad, J. Mark McVey. So now we're gonna pour this in.
Okay, let me hold this.
Yes, please. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just okay. Perfect. Normally you could pour this like in front of yourself, but you know, because this could be a little hard, but you know, it's fine. It's okay.
Do you ever add any toppings?
I do not, because this is already so sweet from the chocolate that we don't really need any toppings. And the souffle usually doesn't call for anything on top because the texture is already like so nice and fluffy. You don't want any like crunchy sprinkles or frosting that's smooth, already like the souffle on it.
Dripping on my fingers. Tastes good.
It tastes good though. That's what we want, right?
Yes.
Ooh. Oh, this is a little, okay, that's fine. Okay. So now we're gonna put this into the oven.
Perfect.
And put a timer on for around 30 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. That is it. That is how you make a perfect souffle.
Christy and and Mark, amazing. Kylie and Sarah, you guys did a great job. Lori, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Let's dig on in.
Yes.
That's fun. Yeah. All right.
Let's have the crew join us too, the PKRG crew. Would love
Okay.
that.
Come on in, crew.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. The new American recipe.
I should actually do that first. Because this is a lot of butter.
Delicious.
This is a lot of butter.
Here you go, sir.
I do like it.
You guys are such naturals.
Thank you.
Aw, thank you.
Good job.
Very good, Mark. Delicious.
So, Mark, tell us the story about how you came to New York.